हरि ओम। ओ ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करो वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणो याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम Hari Om. We are studying the commentary of Bhagwan Sri Adi Shankaracharya Ji on this verse number 50. We'll chant the verse number 50 again. Siddhim prapto yatha brahma तथाप्नोति निबोध मे समासे नैव कौन्तेय निष्ठा ज्ञानस्य या परा. Here Bhagwan Shri Krishna tells that after gaining that siddhi, that is, after getting ready or becoming fit for Jnana Nishtha, how can one gain that Jnana Nishtha? That you listen from me briefly. So many doubts and questions may arise in our mind regarding what exactly is this Jnana, Atma Jnana, and how that Nishtha happens. So all these doubts are cleared by Bhagwan Shankaracharya Ji in his commentary. In fact, without Bhagwan Shankaracharya Ji's commentary, which is called Bhashya on Bhagavad Gita, we cannot understand the real meaning of Bhagavad Gita. Not only Gita, but if we want to really understand Vedanta, we have to study along with Shankaracharya Ji's Bhashya. Whether we want to understand Upanishads or Brahma Sutra or Bhagavad Gita, the Bhashyas are very important. See, there are many texts on Vedanta, and when one reads and studies them, we get thoroughly confused, because lot of terms and the principles are explained differently in those different texts, so one gets confused. The definition of important terms like avidya, maya, jiva, brahma, or the equipment like sharira, mana, buddhi, chitta, hankar, how they are formed, etc., are quite confusing if one reads them in different texts, because many times they are very contradictory. But Shankaracharya Ji, he never contradicts himself, so there is beautiful consistency in his explanation, in his Bhashya. So there are no confusions at all. And this topic being very subtle, he explains elaborately. So the Atma Jnana we have to gain, that Shuddha Atma is Brahma only. Brahma alone is the Shuddha Atma, which one has to know. What we know now, we know ourselves along with the upadhis. We know ourselves along with the Stula Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, and we have this Karana Sharir, what is called avidya. So because of avidya, we don't recognize ourselves as we are. We look at ourselves along with the upadhis and get confused. So we have to know ourselves as we are. And that knowledge is possible to happen because we have what we call a very beautiful instrument called buddhi. This buddhi is not a product of the five elements. See, some text and all, like in Tattvabodh and all, it is said this buddhi is a product of the sattvic amsha of the five elements. But this Sattvagun, Rajogun, Tamogun expresses only in the human beings or in the living beings. So Buddhi is not considered as the product of five elements. Buddhi is the expression of that Mahat Tattva. Mahat Tattva is Bhagwan's Prakriti, one of Bhagwan's this Ashtadha Prakriti. So expression of that Mahat Tattva is that Samashti Buddhi, and our Buddhi is part of that Samashti Buddhi only. So this Buddhi is a very amazing equipment which when it appears, through the Buddhi we gain objective knowledge about ourselves, and we also gain the knowledge of the world. So with the help of the Buddhi, and along with Buddhi, we have our mind, we have our what you call senses. So through this we gain the knowledge of the world, and we also gain the knowledge objectively. We also recognize ourselves. We recognize ourselves in the waking, in the dream, and also in deep sleep. We come to know that I was there in deep sleep when I wake up. So that Sushupta Atma is also known. But the Turiya Atma is not known. We have to recognize the Turiya, the Supreme Shuddha Atma. So when our Buddhi becomes pure, when the Buddhi becomes free from all impurities, when the Buddhi becomes absolutely transparent, and when the Buddhi becomes sukshma, very subtle, then we are able to recognize our own self. We are able to understand what the Shastras are saying, and we will be able to recognize our own self. See, the Buddhi is like a mirror. So, when a mirror is there, and when you look into the mirror, you can see your face. Not only you can see your face, but you can also see other objects reflected in the mirror. So let us say we have a mirror. Okay? You can see. So in this mirror, when I look, I not only see myself, in the sense my own reflection, but I can also see the reflection of other objects around me. Similarly, in our Buddhi, there is a reflection of our own self in the form of aham vritti, मैं हूँ, aham asmi, that I am. And we also have in the Buddhi the vrittis of idam, of our sharir, man, indriyas, and the world. So all these vrittis happen in the Buddhi, and we gain that knowledge. Okay. Now see, briefly I will tell you, the Shastras give the path of karma yoga first, and then we have to gain that knowledge, and thereafter gain jnana nishtha. So these three steps are there. Through karma yoga, we have to clean the buddhi. Then we gain that knowledge of ourself and gain abidance in our own self. So, for example, buddhi is like the mirror. So, when there is dust on the mirror, if some dust is there or some object is there, we can't see the reflection. So, first we have to clean the mirror, remove all the dust. If I want to see my face, I have to clean the mirror, make it absolutely free from all dust. So that is the part of Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga cleans the mirror of our Antakarana, means of our buddhi. Mana Darpana. Mana is Darpan. Mana is like a mirror only. Even Tulsidas ji says in Hanuman Chalisa also we chant Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nija Mana Mukur Sudhari Baranahu Raghubar Bimal Jasu Jodayak Falachari. श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज, गुरु के चरण के रज से, मीन्स विद गुरु भक्ति, not only serving the guru but listening to the guru, contemplating on the guru helps to clean the mirror of our antakarana. Shri Guru Charan Saroj Rajan Nijam Mana Mukura. Mukura means mirror. Manarupi mirror. निज मन मुकुर सुधारी, मुकुर को सुधारना है, साफ करना है. And once that mirror becomes clean, you just look into it and you see your face. You don't have to do anything. Knowledge is not an action. Karma Yoga involves action. But knowledge is not an action. When the praman is there and you just look and you just see. So when the antakarana becomes shuddha, we can see our own reflection as though. We come to understand our own self. We can see our own image in the buddhi. See, that is also what you call objective knowledge. It's like looking at my face in the mirror. Though it is my face, it is different from my face, in the sense my face is here and I am looking there. So it is objectively you are looking at yourself. So through self-knowledge, you look at yourself objectively. But that looking at yourself is very important. Self-knowledge is very important. Without self-knowledge, we cannot gain abidance in our own self. In Brahma Sutra also, Shankaracharya ji writes, Jnana pramane naiva avagantum ishtam Brahma. That Brahma is recognized and one gains experience of that Brahma by first gaining that knowledge. Even Jidnyasa is considered as avagati paryantam jnanam, that one should gain knowledge till we gain the experience. So see, very interesting. When you look into the mirror, you see your face. Our buddhi is just like a mirror. And that knowledge of self in the buddhi is like seeing our own face in the buddhi. Okay? Then what is nididhyasan? What is nididhyasan? See, the face when I see in the mirror, it is only a reflection of my face. though it looks exactly as my face. But still it is only a reflection, not my actual face. It is a reflection. So when I keep looking at that reflection, while looking at that reflection, I have to take a jump. I have to do a paradigm shift. I have to shift the attention from the reflection to myself. This is a paradigm shift. Instead of seeing my own image in the buddhi, I should identify with myself, not with my image. My image is a knowledge of myself in the buddhi. I should identify with myself, not with my image. But this is done by just looking at that image constantly. And as I am looking, I have to shift what I am seeing there is not there, it is here. What I am seeing there is not there, it is here. See this mirror, there is a statement written here. This is a rear view mirror from a car. Here it is written, which is a very Vedantic statement. So next time when you read, you should remember that objects in mirror are closer than they appear. Objects seen in the mirror are closer than they appear. So when I look at my face in the mirror, it appears far away. But really speaking, my face is closer than what you can imagine. So this shift, paradigm shift, is what is called nididhyasan. It is totally different. It is different from dhyana, meditation. In the world, popularly what is called meditation or dhyana is different. It is just some activity of the buddhi. But nididhyasan is not an activity of the buddhi. It's a paradigm shift. From the object, we have to come to the subject. From knowing Brahma or knowing myself, I have to be myself. That shift, that jump, that paradigm shift is what is called nididhyasan. It may take its own time. It may happen for a fraction of a second, but again, because our habit of many lifetime is that I consider myself as the reflection. I have never experienced myself, means I have never shifted my attention from the reflection to myself. All the time the attention is on the reflection only. Sushupti avastha is like I am just closing my eyes and just there, not looking at me. Though I am with myself in Sushupti, but in the waking I should gain that knowledge. Because in the waking state, I have to achieve that paradigm shift. And once we achieve that paradigm shift, we are free. We have gained moksha. So Karma Yoga is cleaning the mirror. Jnanam is to see my reflection in the mirror. As the mirror becomes more and more clean and pure, I will see my reflection beautifully. And nididhyasan is to shift my attention from the reflection to myself. Think about this, contemplate. Now Bhagwan is explaining all this. See, all this is not my thing, what I have learned from Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji's commentary as taught to me by my teacher, Swami Paramananda Bharati ji. From him I learnt a lot of the secrets of the things revealed by Shankaracharya ji in his commentary. So, let us read the commentary further and try to understand the beauty of it. So here Bhagwan says that buddhya bhasam manaha tad abhasani indriyani indriyabhasah cha dehaha ato लौकिकैः देहमात्र एव आत्मदृष्टि क्रियते. Here Bhagwan is saying the what you call the misunderstanding of an ignorant person. See, whether a person is ignorant or a person is wise, everyone is aware of their own self. Everyone is aware of their own self. Even an ignorant person is aware of his own self. A wise person is also aware of his own self. Everyone is aware of this own self. Because in the buddhi, there is the reflection of the self. So all those who have buddhi, there is the reflection of that self in the buddhi. And the awareness, that reflection itself gives rise to that awareness of the self. Means I am. Everyone has got this understanding of I am, my who. Not only human beings, but even animals. Not that they are saying it in English or Sanskrit or Hindi or something, but that understanding ki my who. When you see a cow and when you show some grass to that cow, the cow comes towards you to eat the grass. This Shankaracharya ji gives this example in his Adhyas Bhashya of Brahma Sutra. So when you show some grass to the cow comes to eat the grass. But if you hold a stick in your hand and with the anger you look at that cow, it will run away. Why is it behaving like this? Why the cow is behaving in this way? Because cow has an understanding of I am in his own language, but cow knows my whom. But that my who, it has got the feeling of my in the sharira. And it wants happiness for that my. It wants happiness for that self. And it knows that if I eat this grass, I will get happy. So it comes. But when you show a danda, it runs away. Because it knows that if this fellow hits me with this stick, I will feel pain. I will suffer. So it does all this activity of going towards what it likes and running away from what it doesn't like. Is because of its understanding of the self. But it has identified the self with the body. But still that self-knowledge is there. I am. Not only in a cow, in a bird, in everyone. In a small little ant also. In a mosquito also. The mosquito sits on your body to drink your blood. But then when you notice it and you try to kill it, it just flies away. The ant wants happiness by drinking that blood, but it also wants to avoid sorrow. Avoiding sorrow is very important to it. If there is choice of drinking and dying or just remaining hungry and being alive, the mosquito feels better to be alive. Let me fly away. I will attack him when he goes to sleep. So this sense of I is there in everyone, even in an ignorant person. But the sense of I is in the body, or in the senses, or in the antakarana, or in all of them. So Bhagavan explains here, Shankaracharya ji, कि बुद्ध्याभासम मनः. See, when in the buddhi there is the awareness of the self. The self is like that, like this glass, and the buddhi is like a water in it. So as soon as that water is there is in that water also the presence of that glass is there. So the presence of glass in the water expresses as the reflection of that glass. Similarly, the presence of Atma in our buddhi expresses as the vritti, aham asmi, मैं हूँ. Okay. So in the buddhi there is this feeling that I am. Though because of my ignorance I don't understand the real I, but I have that vritti I am. It's like a reflection of me in the mirror. So the reflection of myself is there in the mirror, and it is automatic. It doesn't require any effort. When the mirror is in front of me, my reflection just happens in the mirror. The mirror doesn't have to put forth effort, nor I have to put forth any effort. It is the very nature of the mirror to reflect me. It is the very nature of the mirror to reflect anything which comes in front of it. So when in the buddhi, the presence of Atma is there because Atma pervades everything. Atma, Shuddha Atma, which is Brahma, pervades everything. So the presence of that Brahma in this buddhi spontaneously gives rise to that awareness that I am. But since I don't understand that I am is here, not there, I am not the reflection, but I am here. That is not understood. That ignorance is there. So I am, I consider the reflection itself as I am. Then it is identified, it is connected to the buddhi. So buddhi is also considered as I am. Buddhi is also considered as Atma. Then this buddhi is connected to the mind. So mind also, we feel mind as I am, मैं हूँ, ये मन मैं हूँ. We don't call it mind, we just say I am. Then that mind is connected to the senses. So senses are also experienced as I am. See, when I see something with my eyes, I see an object, I don't say eyes are seeing, I say I am seeing. So the sense of I, which is there in the buddhi, get transferred to the mind, to the senses. I say, I am seeing. And our senses are stationed in our gross body. The gross body is the Adhar, the Adhishthan of our senses. Golaka, like my eyes, physical eyes, are the place from where the sense organ eye function. So our senses are connected to our buddhi also. The senses are connected to the sharir. So our gross body is connected to the senses. The senses are connected to the mind is connected to our buddhi. The buddhi is connected to the sense of I which is there in us, which is the reflection of our own supreme self. So the reflection is experiences I am. Buddhi is also experiences I. Mana is also experiences I. Indriyas are also experiences I. So the experience of I am gets pervaded in all these upadhis naturally. Shankaracharya ji writes कि बुद्ध्या भासम मनत. Buddhi, in the buddhi there is abhas, that reflection of self is there. Then that reflection of self gets connected to our mind. Then the mind is connected to the senses, and the senses are connected to the deha. Therefore, a very ignorant, worldly person also experiences I am the body, I am in the body. The sense of I is experienced in the body naturally, because of the connection. All of us, we experience मैं हूँ in the body, in the senses, in the mind, in the intellect, and in that reflection. See, it is like electricity. When that something is connected to the electricity, let us say a socket is there, and you put that plug in it, and that wire is there. So when you switch on that plug, then the current will start flowing in that wire, electrical wire. Then you have a bulb, and you connect that bulb to that wire. Then the bulb will also receive that electricity, and it will start glowing. So there is a glow in the bulb. Why? Because it is connected to the wire. But why wire is having that power? Because it is connected to the electrical source. Suppose you disconnect the bulb, then there is no glow in the bulb. If this is understood, that I, the Supreme Self, which alone exists, which is Satyam Jnanam Anantam, the reflection of the self is there in the buddhi. So there is an experience of I am in that reflection, and there is an experience of I am in the buddhi. There is an experience of I am in the mana. There is an experience of I am in the indriyas and in the body also. Now see, this is very interesting. See, all that I am talking and all that Shankaracharya is writing is about our own experience. Here, through this we have to just look at ourselves, analyze and understand our own experience and find out. Nothing esoteric or nothing vague, or it is not some theory or something. Vedanta is not a theory. It talks about the facts as it is, and everyone can understand. Now see, very interesting. I have the feeling of I am in this body. But if I hold something with this body, suppose I am holding a pen, I don't have the feeling of I am in the pen. Because this connection is not there to the pen. The body is connected to my senses. The senses are connected to my mind. The mind is connected to the buddhi. The buddhi gets that feeling of I am because of the reflection of that Atma. So there is an intimate connection between the body and that self. Therefore, the feeling of I am is there in the body. But same feeling is not there when I hold something or touch something with the body or see something outside. I don't experience any object outside as I am. Outside the body, I don't experience any object as I am. All those objects are experienced as this is. Body is experienced as I am. Senses are experienced as I am. Okay? Now very interesting. See, when the body is walking, you say I am walking. You don't say body is walking. Because there is total identification with the body as I. But very interesting thing happens. The body is also sometimes experienced as this. If there is some defect, some problem with the body, suppose you are picking up something, you pick up the pen. You say, I am picking the pen. But if some problem is there with your hands and you cannot pick it up, you can't hold it properly, then you don't say I have problem. You say there is some problem with my hand. So when you look at object, you can look at your body objectively also, as though it is different from you. Something wrong with my hand, something wrong with my feet. I don't know what is wrong. So then I look at them as though they are different from me. Then I experience body as idam. But otherwise, I experience body as aham only. Same thing is true with the senses also. When I see something very clearly, I say, I am seeing. Who saw? I saw. I am seeing this. But when there is some problem with the eyes, then I say, oh, I can't see properly because there is some problem with my eyes. I don't know what has happened to these eyes. So I call it this, I call it I call it different from me. I don't say I have problem, I say my eyes have problem. So I experience the eye as I and also as this. All the senses. Same thing is true with the mind. When you feel happy and all, oh, I am feeling so happy. I met you. I am so happy. My friend, you have come after such a long time. I am feeling so nice. So all these feelings are there in the mind, but I say I am happy. I am feeling nice. But if there is some problem with the mind, and if I look at it objectively, then I call it, oh, there is something wrong with my mind. Otherwise, I am a nice fellow, but something has gone wrong with my mind. Mind is not working okay today. Same thing we say with our buddhi also. पता नहीं मेरी बुद्धि काम नहीं करती आज. Or when we get intoxicated and all, people say, oh, I am little drunk now, buddhi is not functioning. So when there is connection with the body, with the senses, with the mind, with the intellect, it is experience, all these are experiences I am. This is because it is connected to the reflection of that self. The real I am is the self only. But it is it's a reflection in the buddhi is experienced as the vritti I am. And it gets connected to everything. And everything is, all that is connected is experienced as I am. Okay? If this is understood, let us go one step further. See, when we go to sleep, when we dream, all of us, we go to sleep, so it is a common experience. So what happens? See, I am sitting, listening to the pravachan, let us say. I have awareness of my body and I know I am sitting, I have identification with the body and I consider the body as I and I say I am sitting, I am listening. Then I go to sleep. I go into dream. And in my dream, I am running on the beach, jogging. But my physical body is sitting here. But in my dream, I am jogging. So what happens? And somebody, lifts this physical body, keeps it somewhere else, or does something on my face or this. I don't understand anything. Because there is no sense of I in the body. Because there is disconnection. Body gets disconnected from me when I go into dream. The physical body gets disconnected from me. Therefore, there is no more sense of I in the body. But the sense of I, and there is no more sense of I in the senses also. Because the senses are also withdrawn from the body in the dream. But there is sense of I in the antakarana while we are dreaming. And in deep sleep what happens? I get disconnected from my sukshma sharir also. So there is no sense of I in the sukshma sharir. There is no vritti I am anywhere because this vritti I am happens in the buddhi, in the mana. So in deep sleep there is no vritti I am. I am, that vritti, that thought is not there. But I am is there. Main hu. My I, the Atma, is there in deep sleep. But there is no activity of knowing. There is no doing. There is no experiencing. Because all this activity happen through the upadhis. So in deep sleep I remain alone, separated from my sthula and sukshma sharirs. These two are upadhis. I get separated from them. Therefore there is no sense of I in the body nor in the mana buddhi. See how they operate also. Suppose a person is sick, he has to be operated, his appendix has to be removed, it's creating problem, it's giving excruciating pain. So this person goes to the hospital, then he is given this anesthesia and he goes to sleep. And when he goes to sleep, they just cut his body removes that appendix, this fellow is comfortably sleeping. He doesn't care because there is no connection. There is no sense of I am in the body. And after the operation, when the anesthetic effect is over, again his buddhi, his indriyas get connected to the physical body, and there is an experience of I am in the body. Then we experience the pain also. So, buddhi abhasam, my reflection is there in the buddhi. Buddhi is connected to the mana, because mana is also part of that buddhi. Mana is connected to our indriyas, and indriyas are connected to the sthula sharir. Therefore, we have the notion of I am in the gross body. But that similar connection is not there to objects outside my body. So I don't have a feeling of I am in outer objects. I may be identified, I may be attached to them. I may be attached to my house, my furniture, but I don't have the feeling of I am the furniture in the furniture. Because there is no connection of that reflection of myself to those furnitures. So I know them only as idam, not as aham. The sharir, mana, buddhi are known as idam also and as aham also. But the furniture, the cars, the trees are known only as idam, as this. So here Bhagavan says that those who are ignorant, they consider Deha itself as Atma. So here he says further, कि देह चैतन्यवादिनः च लोकायतिकाः चैतन्य विशिष्ट कायः पुरुष इति आहुः. So there are those who are thoroughly materialistic person, having that materialistic philosophy of life, the Charvakas and all. Those they consider the body itself as Atma. The Chaitanya Yukta Sharir means the sentient body. The body becomes sentient when it is connected to the pranas, to the buddhi. So the sentient body itself is considered as Atma. Deha Chaitanyavadinaha cha lokaitikaha Chaitanya Vishishta Kaya Purusha iti ahuhu. Then there are those others who consider that Indriyas as Atma. They think that no, body is not the Atma, but inside the body, the Indriyas which are there, that is what I am. I am just functioning through the body, but I am the Indriyas. I am the eyes, I am the ears, I am the nose, because those are the experiences I am having. So I am the eyes, I am the ears, I am the tongue. Then there are those who say, no, this I am even subtler than that. I am the mind. I am because the Indriyas are connected to the mind. Only when the mind is connected to the Indriyas, we get the experience of the world. So I must be the mind only. I become happy, I become unhappy. I am the mind. Then there are those who say, no, I am not the mind, I am the buddhi. I am the subtler than even the mind. I can even understand the mind. I can analyze the mind. I take the decision, mind only thinks, but ultimately I decides. Mind just thinks. Final decision is taken by me. So I am the buddhi. This buddhi is myself. So some people think they are the buddhi. Then in the buddhi there is the reflection of Atma as I am. So some people take themselves as that vritti I am. मैं हूँ, ये वृत्ति ही मैं हूँ. I am that. I am the thought. I am the thought I am. Because with that thought I am only I experience my existence, and all the feeling of happiness, unhappiness, all these are felt for this I thought only. When there is no thought of I, like in deep sleep, nothing is there, no experience of joy or sorrow. But when that I thought is there, then all joys and sorrows are there. So there are those who think Atma is the Aham Vritti. So there are these different levels of understanding people have, starting from the body all the way to the buddhi. So sarvatra hi बुद्ध्यादि देहांते आत्म चैतन्या भासता आत्म भ्रांति कारणम इति. So right from the body all the way to the buddhi, and that reflection of self in the buddhi, people have notion that is I. मैं हूँ, because I experience मैं हूँ in all this. But all this is not the real I. The real I transcends all this. Like in a mirror, lot of objects are seen. Those objects are not myself. Even my reflection is not myself. I am this person, free from the reflection, free from everything. Suppose you are looking at your reflection in a mirror, and the mirror is there in front of you, and you are looking at that reflection. Then there is some object placed on top of the mirror, and it is about to fall down and break the mirror. That object will break that mirror. So when you are looking, and even when you know that object will fall and break the mirror, you will not have any fear that I will get destroyed. Because you know, I am not the reflection, and I am not the mirror also. Similarly, an enlightened person who knows that I am this Shuddha Atma doesn't have fear that body will get destroyed or the Mana Buddhi will get destroyed or if death will happen. No fear. Because he knows I am this Shuddha Atma. Mano Buddhi Hankara Chittani Naham न च श्रोत्र जिह्वे न च घ्राण नेत्रे न च व्योम भूमिर्न तेजो न वायुः चिदानंद रूप शिवोहम शिवोहम. Okay? So contemplate on what you heard today. Listen to this pravachan again and think about it. Because as I said, Vedanta teaches us in our own language, which we can understand. With our day-to-day experience, we can understand all that is taught. And then, once we understand, we can practice the sadhana and transcend this limitation and be free. Gain that abidance in our own Supreme Self. Okay? More about this we will see in our next class. So next class we will have on Monday. So tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, we won't have classes. We will have our next class on Monday. I will give you some questions. You can ponder on those questions and answer them. And we shall meet again on Monday. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरिः ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम.